Welcome back to another edition of Action Figure Obsession. It's me, your old pal, Avian and Loaded. And here we are. It's Daredevil Day. So yesterday, Amazon dropped off a couple of Secret Wars Daredevils. One for my very good friend Dr. Witty Banter, friend of the channel, and one for myself, courtesy of Dr. Witty Banter, a very good friend of the channel indeed. I owe more than one of these videos to him and his encouragement and inspiration. And, I didn't even realize I had these many Daredevils because they were kind of spread around the toy room. And this one doesn't really count because it's a kit bash that I just did. But it is a Mezco sort of Man Without Fear tactical Daredevil. Inspired by the Marvel Legends one, using the head from the Marvel Legends one. And then the body is actually the Commando Snake Eyes from the Mezco 112 collective. And then we have another Mezco figure over here in the middle with the pleather costume. Which is why I don't really pose this guy a whole lot, because this Daredevil is an older Mezco, and I really don't want to wreck that the costume, because it's Mezco's sort of Mezcoized version of the classic red Daredevil suit. So yeah, let's. I guess we'll start by showing you what I have on hand here. Right to left, left to right, left to right, that's left to right. Okay, we're going to go left to right, my friends. Left is my kit bashed comic book Matt Murdock, which is basically the MCU Matt Murdock body with the gray suit. It is not the same as the Chameleon / Agent Coulson / Everett Ross body. There are some people who still ignorantly believe that. It is not. Some of the parts are similar, but this one is pinless. It's a little bulkier, a little bit taller, I think. It's just a much, much better figure than the Coulson, Chameleon, Everett Ross type suited body that we were used to for so long, the one that doesn't stand up. This one stands up just fine. It's a great figure, and the head is from this guy, the 2020 Retro Armored Daredevil. I don't like to linger too long on him because you might look at the chips of paint out of his nose and his lip there. Anybody got an extra head for that guy that doesn't suck? But anyway, yeah. So at the far left is my kit bashed Matt Murdock, comic book Matt Murdock, which I think looks fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite kit bashes I've ever done. It includes a messenger bag from the Indiana Jones Adventure series, and I never mentioned what character it came from, because other than Indiana Jones and Major Tote, I don't really remember the names of any of those characters. Yeah, short round, I guess. But all of the other suited guys in that line, they all just kind of blend together for me. I know that one of them is based on the guy that played Hannibal on the TV show. And the other one is one of them is his Indiana Jones's boss from the university. I can't think of his name offhand. If you'd asked me 15 years ago, I probably would have remembered it, but it doesn't matter. All you need for this kit bash is the MCU Matt Murdock. The walking stick comes with that figure. And then you just pop the civilian head from the 2020 Retro Spider-Man wave onto it, and give him that messenger bag, which is, from like a $5 figure. That's how much that Indiana Jones stuff went for on clearance. $5, $10. And, you got yourself a pretty nice ready for court Matt Murdock. Then we have the Mezco 112 Collective Classic red suited Daredevil. As I say, the costume is more pleather than not, if you can see that texture, especially on the chest there. It's not my favorite Daredevil by far, but I do like the sort of bells and whistles that they added to the suit. I think it's a good looking figure. As I mentioned in a recent video, when it comes to Mezco, often, their motto is pose, play, and display. But for me, I just try to display, because at anywhere from $80 to $150 a figure. I worry that posing and playing could damage them, and it's more for me about just having them looking really, really nice on the shelf. Mezco is often referred to as being like a mini Hot Toys, and Hot Toys figures I think now are outrageous, like $300, something like that. I mean, new at retail. They were 200, I think, when I first became aware of them. And I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments, but Hot Toys are gorgeous. But they're also 12 inches tall, and the 1/6 scale. And while I love my 12-inch 1/6 scale Marvel Legends that I have sort of as decorations on the back of my Kit Bash work table, I have found, I had that whole set. There's like 12 or 13 of those that came out about a decade ago. I was going to say a century ago. Came out about a decade ago, that Marvel Legends 12-inch line that was spearheaded by Bobby Valla, who later left in Hasbro and started the Valaverse line with Action Force and a couple of other IPs that he's working on now. But at one point, I did have all of those 12-inch Marvel Legends, including the Hulk and the convention-exclusive Daredevil and all those. I had those, and I opened them, and I had them on display, but they take up so much space, and they're not as much fun to pose or photograph or anything as the 6-inch scale. I think I'm a 6-inch scale guy at heart, a 1/12 scale guy. If you've got a big Hot Toys collection with 50 or 100 or 200 or 300 of those 12-inch figures in your toy room or in your collection, God love you, for both making that investment and for committing. And I hope you enjoy them. I think with the expense of those Hot Toys figures, I don't think I could enjoy them because I'd just be like worried constantly that something terrible was going to happen to them. And I worry about that with my 6-inch guys too, but that's why in a lot of cases I get 2 of each of the ones that I love the most, and that way if something terrible does happen to them, I got backups, I got options. I don't really see Hot Toys buying a backup Hot Toy as an option unless you're in the 1%. The Epstein class, as they call it. But anyway, so yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'm not going to count this guy because he's going right back to being Snake Eyes after I'm done with the video. I just thought, it suddenly hit me that might be a good look, and what do you think? Is that good? I mean, I don't know how much this Commando Snake Eyes even goes for now on the aftermarket, but I'm guessing probably a lot. It's a great figure. It's probably my favorite Snake Eyes figure. I don't even know why. I don't keep it on my Snake Eyes shelf. I keep it on my Mezco shelf. Let's get that off of there. And give him his real head back. You ready? All right, pop that on. Yeah, I keep them not on my Snake Eyes shelf, but my Mezco shelf, and I really like them a lot. Maybe I should put them with my Snake Eyes figures because I do like them better than any of the Hasbro ones. But anyway, let's just set him aside for now because this is about the man without fear, Spidey's best pal, Matt Murdock, blind attorney, seeker of justice, defender of Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil, and specifically this new figure right here. This is the Secret Wars, Marvel Secret Wars Daredevil. And I don't very often do unboxings, but since we're here and since I have some time, let's see if I can hit the pause button and not hit the wrong button and end up having to make this a 2-part video, as has happened in many previous videos where I have tried something like this, because I am not good, despite the fact that I went to college for broadcasting and took a year of video production classes. That was back when we were using 3/4 inch videotape to edit on. And it was a lot easier to see when you were going to make a mistake when you're dealing with that kind of stuff. So let me just hit the old pause button here, and then we'll come back, and I will while I'm away, I'm going to unbox everything and show you what's in the package. How's that sound? So here he is, right out of the package. This is Daredevil, the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Secret Wars Daredevil, inspired by the early 80s Secret Wars toy line. Was that Mattel that did those? It wasn't Kenner, was it? I think it was Mattel. And this is from the second wave of the Secret Wars line that Marvel launched last year. That one included the Secret Wars Captain America and the teenage made-up fake symbiote black suit Spider-Man. He never wore that costume when he was a teenager. God damn it. And who else? So Titania and the Beyonder and Wolverine, the smirky Wolverine. Oh, and did Jim Rhodes Iron Man with the roller skates. So that was what was in Wave 1. And Wave 2, I'm not really even that interested in most of them. I have a modern Falcon. There was a time when I really wanted that classic Falcon. In a different world, I probably would have been more of a completionist on this line. Falcon probably would have been my number 3 most wanted figure. Number 2 probably would have been Absorbing Man. And I think I'm going to skip out. I would have skipped out on that Spider-Man and Magic. I have the Walgreens exclusive Magic, and I like that one. I like how Constrictor looks. I've seen some reviews, but I don't really feel the need for a Constrictor in my collection. I'm not a big Serpent Society guy, so, I'm dancing with the one who brung me. Daredevil was one of my first favorite superheroes after Spider-Man. Obviously, just looking back there, I have some affection for the guy. I'll put the Mezco one back in. And here's everything that comes in the box. So as you can see, the package is a little light. I don't want to use the word defective, but the fact that in addition to his Billy Club holding hands that he comes with out of the package, he comes with the radar sense, which a lot of people have mistakenly been calling his sonar effect in reviews. It's not sonar, folks. It's radar. Come on. It's really well done. Really, look at that. That is, and I've seen some people have painted it red or had alternating translucent and red or reddish circles on that. Added a little paint to it to zhuzh it up, and it really works. But even out of the box, just the way it is, that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. That's a stellar effect, one of their better ones. I did see a review where somebody said that they'd never done anything like that before. Obviously, that guy does not have the most recent Havoc figure from the X-Men neighborhood of Marvel Legends, because Havoc came with something very, very similar to show his powers. But yeah, what we're missing here, you have this gigantic, oversized, grasping right hand, which I will never be using, because when you put it, I've seen the reviews, you put it on him and it hangs down so low that it looks like he could scratch. If he had an itch under his knee, he'd be able to reach it without bending over in the least. So I'm not a big fan. And this, I think this, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think this hand originally came with, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it originally came with the Vulcan figure, which was obviously the first figure on the Vulcan body mold. And then he comes with one fist. Daredevil, the son of Battling Jack Murdoch, Hell's Kitchen's most famous boxer, comes with one fucking fist. As far as I'm concerned, this is a defect. And, I know sometimes they show, extra hands in the promotional artwork, and then screw you when you get the figure and you find out that it's missing a hand. This is missing a hand. He should have a right fist and a left fist. And it's inexcusable that Hasbro did that. And I won't go on, but would I rather have a right fist than the lenticular shield? Yes. Even though Matt Murdock, Daredevil, even though I don't mind the lenticular shields. I don't even mind the mini comic books that come with the mini comic waves. And I know that they're doing it as a cost cutting measure to give you the illusion of value added. I get that. But of all the annoying things that Hasbro does, giving you something like the mini comics. Oh, here's one right here. What a coincidence. I should have had this on screen considering what it is. It's the Daredevil Man Without Fear #1 that came with the black costume, with the bandana on his head, Daredevil back there, in between classic Daredevil and first appearance Daredevil. But the mini comics, I like them. I'd rather have this than a Build-A-Figure piece, and I know that puts me in the minority, in the vast minority probably. I stopped giving a shit about Build-A-Figures a long time ago. I think the last one that I even bought the wave to build the figure was Zabu from the Kazar wave. Actually, Kazar was from the Zabu wave, technically speaking. But yeah, that I always wanted Zabu and Kazar. I would have liked Shauna too, but they they screwed me on that one by putting it in a 2-pack hostage kind of situation. But I'd rather have a fist than the lenticular shield. But I'd rather keep the lenticular shield and get rid of this giant oversized mitt and just have a matching set of fists. If it just came with 2 fists and the 2 gripping hands for his billy club, that would have been fine with me. I would have liked it. I don't mean to be negative because I think this figure looks spectacular. I don't see any defects on mine. I did watch a ridiculous clickbait video from one reviewer who's the holster for his billy clubs was not properly glued into the. It wasn't keyed properly, as they say in the business, into the thigh, and it fell off on camera. And he was just outraged. What a horrific. One drop of super glue fixes that guy's problem. Instead, he turns it into clickbait, and then he actually admits in the video that it's clickbait. I'm going to show this on camera because people like seeing this sort of thing, and I'm going to make it the thumbnail. What a douchebag. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And who am I to throw stones about being a douchebag, right? So yeah, this is the Secret Wars Daredevil. Brand new 2026 Daredevil. We've been getting good Daredevils in the Hasbro Marvel Legends line for quite some time. This guy, I think, was 2015 or 2016. No. That body was 2015 or 2016. I think the set. This is the one that's on the Bucky Cap body from the Defenders box set, the comic style Defenders of Hell's Kitchen. I think, honestly, so here are my 3 classic costume Marvel Legends Daredevils. And I think they all have something to offer. I think the one on the far left, which is the 3-pack Hasbro Pulse exclusive one that came with Elektra and Bullseye, I think he's a great born-again Daredevil from the comic book, Daredevil Born Again by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. I think this Defenders 4-pack Daredevil is a perfect, absolutely ideal Frank Miller, Klaus Janson style Daredevil. And I've come to realize, looking at some old Daredevil artwork, that this new Secret Wars Daredevil is a great Gene Colan Daredevil. And Gene Colan had a legendary, very, very long run on Daredevil. He depicted him as a bulky, muscular guy, and those shoulders just scream Gene Colan Daredevil to me. My criticisms of this, some of them are unavoidable if they really truly wanted to pay tribute to the Secret Wars Daredevil, which is the thick black lines at the gloves and boots. I would have preferred those lines to be about half as thick as they. I do want the lines. One of my big complaints about the 3-pack one is that he didn't have any delineating lines to show you where the boots and gloves were. I don't dig that just, onesie catsuit look, so I want to see a little bit of evidence that we're dealing with gloves and boots. But I think the width of the lines, the horizontal lines, I would like it if they were about half as thick as they are, maybe even 2/3. But I just feel like it's a little heavy-handed. But at the same time, I know that that is a tribute to the original Secret Wars figure from the 80s. The vertical lines on the boots, the seam line going down, I'm really not sure how I feel about that. In a perfect world, I'd like to see those reduced to about half the width as well. But I think I might just prefer to only have the lines going around horizontally at his shin and not have the lines going all the way down the boot. But I'm not 100% sure on how I feel about that. But I do think, for my aesthetic preference, and I love the figure, don't get me wrong, but aesthetically, if I was calling the shots and if I was in the room with Hasbro when they were designing this with the Legends team, I think I would have said, can you give me a mock-up where the black lines are like half as wide? I'd just like to see that. And maybe we'll get something like that. Undoubtedly, I think this is an all-new body mold, or almost completely new. And it wouldn't surprise me if we get another more classic-looking comic Daredevil on this body. I'm sure we're going to get a first appearance Daredevil on this body, and maybe some of his other looks as well. Because it's a really nice looking figure. It's substantial. I haven't, getting him out of the box and posing him around a little bit off camera just to get a sense of it. I didn't see any defects or problems with him. I do like the effects. I like the Billy Club. I'm not going to take it apart on camera, but in the middle there, you see that double sort of seam line. It does pull apart, as you've probably already seen in other reviews, because I doubt that I'm your go-to reviewer. I'm not going to look at anybody's reviews until I see what Avian Unloaded has to say about the new Secret Wars Daredevil. There's nobody that says that. But it does come apart in two pieces, and there's a plug in between the two pieces, a little tiny little black plug that you can pull out completely. And then you have the two Billy Clubs with portholes at the end of each one, and you can put the sort of swooshing rope cable effect from the 3-pack Daredevil, and I think it also came with the black and red costume one. I don't have that one anymore. What was that? I can't remember what that one was called, but the one, I think he had wraps on his gloves and boots, or at least his gloves. That was on the Bucky cap, I think. Largely, if I recall correctly. But if you have that plastic effect, and I do have, I think I have two of them in my fodder bin. So at some point I'll probably do a diorama or photo shoot setup of some kind using that effect with this Billy Club. But as an old friend of mine used to say, not today. So yeah, not perfect, but it's entirely possible that it is the best Daredevil that we have gotten in the Hasbro Marvel Legends line, which makes it better than any Toy Biz Marvel Legends Daredevil, because most of those were not that great. I've been considering the CT Toys / Mafex Daredevil. I missed the boat when the Mafex was solicited. And then the CT Toys one, obviously, is much cheaper and basically the same thing. I feel like I don't need that now. I feel like this scratches the itch for the CT Toys or the Mafex, and at a much lower cost. This was, I think, including tax from Amazon, I think the two Daredevils that we got came to $62. So $31 for this guy. That's not bad. And I was a little antsy because it was selling out everywhere, but then it was back up on Amazon, and we pulled the trigger on it, and here he is. And I'm absolutely delighted to have this Secret Wars Daredevil. I think of all my Daredevils, and I do have them all kind of in a display together with the Punisher and some of the other street level heroes. I do think he will be front and center. Because he is just spectacular looking. I really, really like him, and I am super proud to have him, super pleased to have him. Trying to think, there was something else that reviewers were forgetting to mention. What was it? I can't remember. I will say they often don't know. Now, the first wave of Secret Wars Marvel Legends came with a cardboard disc that you could swap into this thing and take out the lenticular And it's not holographic. It's not anything else. It's lenticular. It's a lenticular image. That is what that is called. Most reviewers know that, but the ones that don't kind of flail around trying to figure out how to describe it. But the first wave came with you could take the lenticular image out and just put in a thing that said like Marvel Legends series, Secret Wars, 40th anniversary, whatever it was. And it was just text. And, for a while I actually had a Secret Wars display going, and I used that cardboard insert to kind of, in the front of the display, propped up on a little sticky tack to just sort of announce what that display was. But that was replaced by my Jack Kirby shelf, which I think is going to be a permanent part of the collection. But you can remove this, the lenticular piece from this. You just take it apart at the top here. You see that little seam line. You can take that out, and you can actually peel the lenticular part off of the cardboard backing and use it as a sticker. So I have the Captain America one, and I have 5 of those pieces because I bought 5 Secret Wars Captain Americas. Although I may have given one to a friend, now that I think about it. So maybe I have 4 of them, and one of them's on my laptop. Yeah, I have a Captain America one on my laptop because I like seeing that. Cap's my guy, as you may have realized if you watch his channel for any length of time. But if you want a lenticular Matt Murdock sticker on the back of your cell phone or on your laptop or, your backpack, if you can stick a sticker to your backpack, I don't know. That's something you can do with this, right? If you don't want the Build-A-Figure, there's usually nothing you can do with a Build-A-Figure piece unless it comes with like an arm bracer or something like that you can use as custom fodder. But I think, the comic books are a lot of fun, and I keep them all in a little plastic box, so it looks like a box of comics you might see at a comic book convention, in somebody's booth. And I also saw a video where somebody turned these into Christmas ornaments. They put a hook through them and turned them into Christmas ornaments last Christmas. And, I'm not a big fan of Christmas, frankly, but I thought that was pretty clever. That made me actually want to have a Christmas tree, which is very unusual. Ask my wife. So yeah, the comic book doesn't actually come with the Secret Wars Daredevil, but you do get the lenticular shield. I understand the C-clip, which you shouldn't be using anyway because they always snap eventually. Especially over time as they get a little bit more brittle. But you can move to the peg. It's got that stupid peg and clip system. You can flip it over for the peg and have Daredevil hold it in one of his Billy Club holding hands if you want to use this for some reason. I mean, it's just in there for sentimental value. They could have given us a fist and perhaps a Matt Murdock head or an alternate Screaming head or something, but they didn't, because I'm sure this was cheaper. They already had the mold for the shield. All they had to do was print up the stickers. So, Hasbro gonna Hasbro, as they say. I think that's about all I have to say about the new Hasbro Marvel Legends Secret Wars Daredevil. If I had to give him a score, I think... I'm thinking about doing a, countdown like I did with Spider-Man, with the classic costume comic book Spider-Mans the other day. I was thinking about doing a countdown, even in this video, but now I'm so tired. So tired. Maybe I'll make that a second video. I don't know. I love Daredevil so much that they're all pretty much my favorite. Whichever one I'm looking at is my favorite at the moment, That's just how I am with Daredevil. It's an action figure obsession. I don't know what to tell you. I like how the radar sense piece fits perfectly into his back. It's very snug, very secure. I think I may actually display him with it, and I almost never do that with effects pieces, especially big ones like that. But I did. You think that looks bad? Because I think it looks friggin' spectacular. It's great. It's really great. If I had a second one, I'd probably do that thing of painting some red on there too to enhance the effect even more, make it look like the Paulo Rivera Daredevil. But as it is, man, I think it's a great figure. If I was giving it a score, which I guess I will, on a 1 to 10 scale, it's a 9.5. And if it came with just one more fist, if it came with a right fist, the son of a boxer, the son of Battle and Jack Murdoch, only has one fist. So as it stands, this is a 9.5, but it would have been a 10 if it came with a fist. And that's that with that. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Action Figure Obsession here on the AVN and Loaded channel. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, recipes for whatever, feel free to leave them down in the comments section. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you see, and hit the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know whenever I upload a new video. And share the video if you like. If you know somebody who likes Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, Matt Murdock, the son of Battle and Jack Murdoch. Hit the share button and send a link to all your Daredevil-loving friends so they can watch me ramble on about this figure for over half an hour. And that's just what I do here. I ramble on sometimes for over half an hour. Thanks for joining me for Action Figure Obsession. And I will see you. Unlike Matt Murdock, he will not see you, but I will see you on the next one.